Hey,
Yo, was it
uh,
$20,000 or was it $25,000?
I believe it's 20,000.
Not that it matters.
Yeah, 20,000. And this guy, Bruce, I mean, he's just the middle guy,
Yeah,
It's not his place. Yeah.
the agent. All right.
Yep.
This place is closed and has been for a very long time. So now the back and forth regarding 25 grand is just they have no faith in you, and this isn't biblical. We're trying to open a business here
Right.
from nothing. The age-old argument. All right, here we go. And like I said, the game that is played, they say we want $20,000, and like I said, we ignore them until they write back and say, "Hey, are you still interested?" Well, no, we thought you were kidding. 20 grand.
Yep.
Here we go. Come on, Bruce.
Hello, it's Bruce.
Bruce, Danny, the laundry guy. How you doing, bud?
Oh, good. Hadn't heard from you for a while.
Well, moving and shaking and opening stores. So,
All right.
a recap, in my estimation, we're ready to sign this lease and get this done. But obviously, our concern is the fact that equipment now is being pushed out forever. We talked about that. We're making an attempt to retool this store as quickly as we can. And we had everything hammered out, rent abatement and everything else. And the issue is, as you well know, go buy a 2x4 at Home Depot. It's $12. I don't know what that has to do with China, but everything in the supply chain is sideways right now. So we have parts on our washers and dryers that unfortunately still come from other countries. And look, this isn't a zero-sum game here, obviously. We don't get rich in any one laundromat, but we want to try to get this place operating, successful. And really, the abatement period is not so we can get the doors open. The free rent period is more so that we can bring the people back. Everybody that was using this place, Bruce, has found another laundromat. They are already in another service center somewhere. So,
Yeah, most likely.
yeah. Oh well, people don't stack their laundry in the people don't stack their laundry in the closet and wait for us to reopen.
Yeah, I was going to say either that or their clothes are all dirty.
They just keep buying new. Walmart's cheap.
Yeah.
But then you come back with a $20,000 ask, and again, we're looking every time we do this to invest in the equipment, to invest back into this building. And look, if this is the way the game is played, for us, it's not a game. We can go from, we had 12 months in the bag and no lease deposit, no key fees. Of course, we want to do this, absolutely, but we need to meet somewhere in the middle, as they say, and we can do an addendum where, let's say that 60 days past opening is the abatement period. I don't know, but I'm seeing this again and again and again where we're not able to get these stores operating within a year. That's how long it's taking. I mean, I don't know how long this place has been empty, but obviously you're not collecting any rent now.
Yeah, I don't know exactly, but it might be a couple of years since it's been empty. So yeah, I mean, he's looking at, who knows how long into the future having it continue to be empty if he doesn't come to a meeting of the minds with you. So I would just push back. If there's any way you can throw him a bone, do it, but push back. Give me an email explaining your situation, just like you did to me, and I'll go to bat for you.
I know you will. Look, why don't we had 12 months. We're ready to draft a lease. Why don't we do, I mean, I'd rather say have it open and ambiguous and say 60 days from opening. Can you speak confidently on whether or not that's going to fly? That's extremely ambiguous. That's not 18 months from the day we sign. That's very open-ended, but we're not going to sit on our hands. Day one, we're in there sweeping the floors, bringing every distributor in to start getting pricing for equipment. Day one.
Yeah, I mean, he could come up with this question about what happens if he's not open in a year, and how long.
Okay, what happens if we're not open in a year? Great. I can't speak to that. This is a laundromat. It has the infrastructure. That's precisely why we're intrigued by it. And if it's not open in a year, we're the ones losing sleep and concerned about it. But I want to sign this lease with every contingency on it. We never want to come to you hat in hand begging for a rent reduction. Imagine how ignorant a possible operator would be if they came to you a few months ago when we started talking and said, well, we don't need abatement. We don't know what free rent is. You know that. You've dealt with tenants that don't even understand abatement. They want to open an empanada shop or a beer garden, and they don't even ask for free rent. Well, we know that we need it. We want to stick to what's on that lease, follow through, follow up, and be true to our word. And that's why, there's some concerns right now with bringing equipment in. You know that. If you've tried to buy a new vehicle or even used, I just saw 40% used cars are up. Wow. Refrigerators for your home, washer dryers for the residents. It's crazy.
It is brutal. Yeah, well, again, I would just, make an attempt to explain yourself, why you will do what you'll do, why you won't do what you won't do, and we'll make one more attempt at it, see if we can't get him to buy in. Because, again, he's sitting there with a vacant space. It's not making him any money.
Yeah, we
gives him a prospect of making money at some point.
We understand each other. You're looking at $300,000+ over the next 15 years. We're not short term. We don't dip our toe in the water. And the way this works for us and him, if you want to have a three-way conversation, get him on the phone. We're open to that as well, whatever it takes. Because putting all this in writing, you've seen the before and after pictures of our stores, how we operate, what we do. And it's a matter of, most landlords think long term. I own commercial space too, and I'm always thinking long term. If someone comes to me and says, I really want to start a Braille dartboard shop. Okay, that's adorable. First and last month's rent, 6 months in advance. I'll give you a year lease. Good luck. In this case, this is long term. We're going to be here time in memoriam and know what we're doing. Laundromats aren't glamorous. They're not sexy. No one store makes you rich. But if you have enough of them, we want to go into this space full gusto, not dipping our toe in the water. We'll write it. We'll meet you in the middle, like I say, but it's a zero-sum game. We want to move into this space and get hammers swinging right away.
Yeah, okay. Well, I had a question for you.
Of course.
I think I know the answer, but he apparently owns this equipment for better or for worse. It's in there now. Your plan is to trade that out for your own equipment that you're buying new, right?
Correct.
So then you would be the owner of that new equipment, not him. Is that correct?
Of course.
All right. Well, I just wanted to make sure because replacing equipment that he owns with equipment that he doesn't own, but presumably the stuff that's in there isn't all that great. It may not even be operational to start with.
Well, let me talk to you about that. Sure, he owns that equipment. Yes. This is a business, and those washers and dryers are at end of life. They're at end of use. They've been squeezed dry. So this isn't some lemon tree where eventually someday you can start a lemonade stand. This is a bunch of squeezed out lemons in a trash can. I don't know if that analogy hits home, but that equipment is junk, for lack of a better word. Look, it was in place, it was operating, it probably made someone a lot of money, and then it started to reach end of fiscal use, meaning I can keep equipment running forever, but I'm where? In the store with rubber bands and baling wire every day. No one wants to do that. New equipment is great. It's under warranty for a few years, depending on how you negotiate the new equipment. But once 7-8 years shows up, well, our tax benefits run out and the equipment starts to end up wrung out, and we want to get rid of it. So yeah, he owns that equipment. And of course, we'll have debt service on the new equipment. We talked about that. That is our equipment. So it sounds like there's some fear with the landlord on what's going to happen with this group. Like I say, I'm happy to talk to him. And when you say, I've got a question, I'm excited. I can't wait to give the answer. And I'm hoping it's, hey, are you going to be, are you going to be 24 hours? How are you going to handle security? What do you do as far as ATMs? Are you a card store or coin store? Those are questions I love answering because we're very serious about running very successful stores. I've started, we're playing with Google right now where we're basically, a store has an LLC and that's the real name. And then it has the name that you give the public, Danny's Laundry. No one cares about me. They don't care what I call the store. How about actually naming the store and naming the LLC Laundromats Near Me? You know what happens when they try to look for a laundry on their phone? They say Laundromats Near Me. Boom. Store comes up first. Just little nuances like that are what makes these stores successful. And that's always the goal. So you go back to him, you're our mouthpiece, and you say, look, we got guys on the hook here that know what the hell they're doing. All he needs to concern himself with is a rent check. Kaboom. He's going to get it.
Yeah, let me approach this broker about maybe having a phone conversation with him.
That's fine. Either way, I'm open to it.
If I could put you in direct touch with him, and if you could allay any of his concerns that he has and take him over the hump there.
I would love to take him over the hump, and that's the first time I've done that with a man today.
All right.
All right, Bruce.
I'll be back to you, Danny. All right. Thanks for calling. Bye.
So we got a whole lot of nothing, as usual, with these folks.
Right. Well, that guy can't make any decisions on it one way or the other.
But he is our mouthpiece, and that's why it's not a wasted conversation to speak eloquently to the agent, because he's going to go back. And truthfully, when I do consultations with couples, for instance, and I'll get an email, hey, I can talk right now, but my husband's at work. Let's just do it. Let's just have a conversation. I'm like, no. Let's wait. If you're both in this laundromat thing together, let's all get on the telephone, because there's no way you're going to be able to explain what I say and how I say it and the nuances of a conversation to your husband. So let's do it together. Right. And in this case, Bruce is likely going back after we talked for 10 minutes and he's saying, yeah, they really know what they're doing. Okay, well, how? And I do truly love it when they say, well, I've got a question. Let's do it. This is going to be great. And of course, the question is always selfish. The question has to do with what we will be able to do. And I like it when they talk about the laundry space itself. Like, well, how are you going to do this? How are you going to change the way that other guy had that horrible... Now, all of a sudden, after all this time, he's concerned with who owns the equipment?
Right.
What? You lease a space to Starbucks. You don't own the coffee machine. Starbucks does.
I mean, he knows that.
He does. And I was going to go into a whole analogy about how, dude, this equipment is a lawnmower at a yard sale. Okay. Right. And if I'm trying to sell it, if I'm a good salesman, I'm going to wipe it down. I might even take a hose to that lawnmower and I'm going to be ready to go. And when someone walks up and says, the first thing they're going to ask, does it run? Oh, yeah, runs like a champ. It's perfect. I just got a new one. Why the hell would you buy a new one? Things don't start to make sense. They unravel, right? You're a salesman now. All right, well, start it up. Well, don't have any gas. Damn. Today's prices, $4 for a gallon of gas, and I would have sold that lawnmower. And in this case, used equipment in a laundromat that's no longer operating is total junk. Someone might be able to limp it along, but you have to wonder, you're scratching your head. Why did this place close? I love when they ask that. Because the equipment was aged. It was at end of fiscal use. Physical use, fiscal use. I can keep it running, but it's not going to make me money.
Right.
Here's what I want you to do. Go back to the mattresses here and send back the original LOI. I mean, not the total original, but we're going to meet them in the middle. So it's going to be 14 months of abatement, or what I say, 60 days post-opening. Give them a choice.
Okay.
Rewrite the original LOI with everything as it stands because they've already said yes to it. Go back through the paperwork and do that addendum. Let's do 14 months free rent or 60 days post opening the doors. I like that.
Okay. And that opening means like with the new equipment?
Yeah, you don't need to get all lawyerly with the verbiage. It doesn't really matter. They understand what it means. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to open with this equipment. Yeah, put that in there. Retooling, okay. That's the term if you want to get lawyerly. People have problems with the written word, and I understand that. So 60 days post-opening / retooling. Put that in his hands today, and at the same time, it sounds like we might get the landlord on the phone. A lot of these guys, they want to stay off in some, creepy mansion somewhere and don't want to be bothered. And, we're trying to rip the mask off. You pesky kids, you foiled my plans. Scooby-Doo reference for you.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Goodbye.
You get time for one more?
Oh, of course. Anything for you.
Well, I got a few, but I only get time for one more anyway. How do you feel about touching base with our other friend named Bruce, who we haven't talked to for about 3 months? And he's the old guy who he likes the idea. He's just hasn't actually pulled the trigger on anything. The last we talked to him, he did tell us that the owner is a real old guy. His kids kind of, as he said, the quote was, keep the wheels turning, daughter and son, but they're not really involved. And I mean, the place is the same. It's a piece of shit.
And it's still operating.
Somehow. I mean, I don't know how, but somehow.
Okay.
And I've been there.
And this is why there's this back and forth. This is why no one really wants to get after this, because there's a guy that's there, a check kind of dribbles and drabs in for the rent. And I kind of understand that, but it's also is the landlord's kids. They're the ones that run it.
No, but they own it.
Sure.
They own them. Or not own it. They kind of run the property from what it sounds like.
I mean, it's got a hodgepodge of equipment. It's got wood paneling and wallpaper, for God's sake. I mean, right. I don't know if there's smell-o-vision, but this is those wall sconces are astounding. It looks like the old Disneyland Haunted Mansion.
Right.
So it's a follow-up.
Yeah, and we've gone back and forth with this guy. He's all about it, but he hasn't, I guess, been able to talk them into bouncing this guy or what.
Yeah. All right. So Bruce number 2, here we go.
Yep.
It's a day of Bruces. This guy loves me.
There's a Laundromat guy.
That's right. Is that what it says in your phone, Bruce?
Yeah, that's probably the way I entered it or something.
I love
it. Anyway, we're making some progress on getting some movement in that center, and I think there's an end unit over on the west end of the center that had at one time had a laundry. Dry cleaners and tailoring and so forth, and it's we're about to lease it to pretty much a high-end barber operation that'll probably have about 20 chairs in it.
Nice.
And it's going to be a pretty good size operation. And there's a couple of other units that we're also working on to get them replaced and get them revitalized. The laundromat guy will definitely be out of there in September.
Okay.
And in the meantime, he's still floundering around trying to find a buyer, which I'm pretty confident that he's not going to find one because the place looks like shit. So,
yeah. We just used that same word ourselves in reference to it. I mean, it's not bad if you're trying to run a haunted house. In that case, great.
Yeah, right.
And I've seen this before. I'm no expert in anything, Bruce.
And there's no way that the landlord can really force them out or
no, I understand. I understand. But let's talk about this. So, number one, he sells the laundromat to somebody for what? What's his walk away? What's his sale price?
I have no idea.
Okay. And that's telling, right? If we look it up, we don't see anything. How's he selling it? Word of mouth? When someone comes in to wash their skivvies, he's saying, "Hey, sir, would you like to buy this palace?" What?
Right.
All right. So we understand he's not the most savvy business seller. He's not even going through Buy Biz Sell. A lot of times they do Craigslist, but let's just say that his price is $50,000. And he actually says, "You know what? I'll take 25 grand because I'm getting kicked out in September." Oops. So he takes 25,000 from some investor. You're not going to give them a lease because they're dumb enough to have given this guy $25,000. It's a catch-22, if you will. Why don't we do this, Bruce? Let's talk terms and let's hammer this lease out contingent on the exit of the current tenant. I'm fine with being prepped and ready, and so should you be. So you go to the landlord and say, "Hey, we've got folks that are going to retool this new equipment in, paint the place hospital white, run it 24 hours when it's ripe and ready. We know what we're doing." And we put all that on paper. We need rent abatement. We need your help to get the place operating, not cash up front, but we have to make sure the air conditioning is up to snuff. It's Arlington Heights. It's hot in the summertime. So everything with this might not be a deal at all. The landlord might look at it and say, "Well, I don't want to do any of that. That's a lot of work." Well, not really. Putting pen to paper and having a good tenant. September, that's 4 months. That's a blink of an eye. I want to be ready when he goes.
Right. Well, listen, you caught me at a kind of a bad time right now because I'm battling a terrible head cold.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I probably don't sound too good.
Well, I appreciate you picking up.
I can start coughing any minute.
You're always the guy that answers the phone, and I appreciate that. Get better, feel better. Have we sent you a letter of intent on this?
I'm sorry, what was it?
Have we sent you a letter of intent? Have we gone to paperwork on this at all?
No, it's just all been verbal. Frankly, between you and me.
Sure. Come on, you haven't mentioned my name to the landlord, I hope. We can send you an email before and after pictures, what we do, how we do it, and...
Yeah, that I do have. And I've actually shared that with the landlord.
Okay. I know the guy's older. I know his kids are kind of holding pieces together. I take pretty good notes on these calls, so it's important to me. But, laundromats can't pay exorbitant rents, and we're normally below market because we have the debt service on the new equipment. The store won't look like this, but we help rise tides, all boats. The other spaces, they're going to say, "Wow, this is a great laundromat. It's not a haunted house."
Right.
All right. Well, I know what it's like when you're sick. Like they say, money isn't everything. Your health is 4%. So get better, and let me put a letter of intent together. And it's a very serious offer on a 15-year term. The guy's going to pocket $300,000, but it's going to take him some time to get there. We're ready to go.
All right.
All right. Thanks,
I'll
Bruce.
look for that and pass it along.
Get better.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
I like Bruce. Is plural
he's a good dude.
Plural of Bruce, is that Bruce's or Bruce I?
I don't know. So put an LOI together for him?
Yeah, he's never had it. Obviously, it's going to be $12 a square foot and 12 months of free, 12 across the board. Let's do that. Send it back to me. That's 2 for 2. You know what to do.
Yep. All right. That bell means I got to get back to work, dude. Thank you.
Thanks, Vinny. Cheers.
Yep.
That bell means I have to get back to work, he says, because Vincenzo is a physical education public training officer. I don't know. He's a gym teacher. And these are the kind of folks that bring me in on the deal. These are the kind of folks that are highly intelligent, well-spoken adults who've got the wherewithal that they want to own a laundromat. They want to own a coin and cash laundry, just like you, because you're watching this. Maybe it's my cute t-shirts or my smarmy way or my adorable smile. I don't know. But I hope you're here because you want to own laundries. And the everything is precisely what you need to be doing. Have you scouted stores? Have you walked into laundromats lately? Wow. These stores, you would think, are time capsules from the 60s and 70s. It looks like you're walking in and you're waiting for Mike Brady to round the corner. It's simple to change these stores and change your money. Simple. Not easy, but simple. The lease has to come first, and that's the process that we're in. Here's Vinny sending 2 letters of intent in Chicagoland. Life-changing money. He might end up with 2 stores at the same time. This is a process. If you're at the infancy of it, subscribe. Why? Because I do these lives all the time, and you'll get a notification on your phone. You'll get an email. Oh, Danny's going live. I don't want to miss this. Be selfish. It's fine. That's why you subscribe to this channel. Selfish reasons. Stop the scuba, underwater, cat knitting channels that you watch. Get rid of that. YouTube should be about finance learning. I'm here to help you with that. Lots of events coming up. Make sure you hit the webinar on Thursday. Today is what? Tuesday. 2 days from now, the webinar. I invite all comers. We don't know who will be there. We've got lots of big names and laundries that show up, or none at all. It's just me blathering on with you. It's a webinar. So make sure your camera phone, your microphone is working, and you can jump onto the webinar and hang out and talk and ask the questions, the important questions. You can grab the course and you'll be fully prepared for that webinar to ask me and the panel informed questions because of my silly course. The course answers tons of questions. Freelaundromat.com, you go there and you'll see my frequently asked questions. It's not Walmart. The FAQ in Walmart, do they have the underwear I want and when do they close? My FAQ on my website is everything that you need to know, all the questions, the answers in the course. It's cheap. It's very inexpensive compared to what I do for you. I'm a giver. Start taking. Take from me. I see folks are on here commenting live. I don't have time for that. I apologize. Because we apologize for what we want. I don't have time for it. You've commented here. Guys, go in the real comments in the video and comment. Do 2 things for me. You're new to the channel. You're here. You're excited. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for selfish reasons. If you want a laundromat, start with the course. Get the education that you need. From K through 12, that's what I'm doing. You want to end up on the phone like Vinny? You want that golden tassel? We can do that too. See ya.